Count money, man. Stack riches. Try and told him I'm a beast, bud.
What's up, gang? Welcome back to another episode of the GRINDcast. Get ready. It's a new day. What are you aiming for? What are you aiming for? Are you aiming to be good? Are you aiming to be okay? Or are you aiming to be great? Because understand, good is the enemy of great. When people do good, that's when most people settle, when you did a good job. You got all A's and a couple of B's. You did pretty good in business this month. You did pretty good last month. You're doing pretty good. Now, there's something to be said to be grateful with where you're currently at, but to be hungry to move to the next level. But if you want to be great, you got to understand the biggest enemy, your biggest competitor is yourself. Fighting the urge to be average and fighting the urge to be good because you got to be great, and being great, let me tell you, it's exhausting. It's on our wall, walking into the agency meeting room. It's exhausting to be great. You want to be great? It's exhausting. When do you find the time? It's exhausting. How do you say no to everybody that don't understand and they get mad at you? It's exhausting. It's exhausting to be great. But it's worth it to reach your full potential. Parable of the talents. Who was the worst? The one that had one talent and buried it and never did anything to multiply it. I think there's something innate in us that is naturally put in us to want to grow, to want to get better. We're either growing or we're dying. And I think when you find people that are miserable, they're not growing. Part of the sadness is that they want to make progress. But sometimes to make progress, we fight against ourselves because our perception of what it requires is it's not there, because good is the enemy of great in a respect of good likes to rest a lot after victories. Greatness gets right back to work, because the test of greatness and the hallmark of excellence is consistency. But consistency is the enemy of average and good, because when you do average and good, your instinct is, time to rest now. How many stories are out there about Jordan or Kobe practicing the day of a game or the day after a championship game or the week after a championship game for Nick Saban? Or go study the greats. Study the greats in every sport, and I'll show you somebody that's obsessed. But guess what the world says about people that are obsessed? They says there's something wrong with them. They say they're weird. But all the people that entertain them, that they pay tickets to go see, or that they are inspired by, all of those people are obsessed. All of those people are consistent. They want to be great, so they're consistent, which means I'm not just going to practice one day a week. I'm going 6 days a week. I'm showing up consistently. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do consistently. I had a good month last month. Like, you want to dominate people in business? Go hard at moments where most people don't. That weekend, that holiday, those moments, that's how you separate yourself. It's not during the game. It's not even during the practice. It's after practice, in between practices, in between the games is when you start to separate yourself. And can you be consistent? How many of you guys and gals are around people that they're good sometimes at work, but then they're not sometimes? Their attitude is good. A lot of the times their attitude sucks other times. Now, we're human. We all got bad days, good days. but being consistent with the effort. Like part of being consistent is doing stuff when you don't feel like doing it. I'm coming to practice when I don't feel like it, because I'm here in honor of being consistent, because I understand that the test of greatness, hallmark of excellence, is consistency. How many times do you go to those practices or go to those days and you're like, man, I'm so glad that I did. Oh, I didn't want to do this workout. Oh, I didn't feel like going there. Oh, I didn't feel like doing this, but you did, and you're glad that you did because you won the mental battle. Now imagine how glorifying that'll be when you win those mental battles consistently all the time. Because we got to be consistent to be great, because on your way to great, you got to be average first. Like you usually go from bad to average, from average to good, and from good to great. And then everybody gets dropped off at their bus stop where they feel most comfortable, where they're like, I'm good here. I'm no longer willing to pay the price anymore, because to go from good to great, you gotta make more sacrifices. But here's the good news. Those of you guys that are on good base, trying to go home to be great, usually the difference between good and great is small. Like somebody that's really good at a sport isn't really that much better a lot of times. So for example, the first place gold medalist in the Olympics isn't beating people that are in fourth and fifth place by even a second. Usually not even by a half a second. They're beating them by a tenth of a second. Fractions of a second. That's how much you're separated at the highest levels. Certain boxers, certain jiu-jitsu artists, it's like, man, you'll be blown away at how good you can do with certain people, because it's the small things. They're a little bit better at these little bit of areas over here. And so what is your standard? What is the standard in which you're going to operate? And how are you doing in regards to reaching your full potential? That's what I think people should do and coaches should do. Some people's potential, their potential could be getting them 50% of the result as somebody else, but they're maxing out their potential. Somebody else could be getting a good result, but their potential is to do triple that. So who's really the bigger failure? My question to you right now is, what is your potential? Are you aiming for your true potential in life? Are you pushing yourself to what you're potentially capable of if you max out? Or are you comfortable not reaching your full potential? Sometimes people think that not reaching their full potential will provide them more happiness. There is something to be said for being content. I'm in a place of peace. I understand. But I think you could be at peace and still in pursuit at the same time, and that's the dance. That's the dichotomy. That's the balance. Is you got to have the balance of, I'm not grateful in a sense of I'm not satisfied. I'm unsatisfied, but I'm grateful that I am where I am. I'm appreciative. And so I'm at peace. But I'm still pushing in the process because I know that I have more potential. And so you don't push in the process to reach your potential because of why. We got one life to live. I'm not saying don't get no time with your family. I'm not saying don't get time with your kids. I'm saying outside of that, how much time? Like I know me personally, if we were to say, hey, Natalie, how much time do you think you need with Simon a week to be happy? And I know everybody's is going to vary, But I don't know if she needs me more than 10, 15, 20 hours. A week. I don't even know if she would want me much longer than that. How much time do my kids need from me? Weekly, daily, put it on paper, add it up, get them done. But what you're going to find is that there's 168 hours in a week. And if you take off 60 hours to work, and that's a lot of work. People all say they work 60, but I don't think people are really working 60. They sitting for 60 doing nothing. Acting, telling people they're working. 168 minus 60 is 108. 20 for the kids, 10 for my wife, there's 30. And I even separated them out. Could be blended. So I'll take 30 off of that. What I'm still left with 80. How many hours am I going to sleep? 50? That's a hell of a sleep for the week. Still got 30. So I worked 60 hours. I slept great. Spent good quality time with my family. I still got 30 hours left. It's inefficiency with those hours. It's a lack of planning and discipline with those hours that causes people to say they don't have enough time. Did you plan when you're going to bed? Did you plan when you're waking up? Did you plan when you're going to do what you want to do? Because if you organize it, schedule it, and plan it, you'll realize that you're just making excuses. Therefore, you can have peace and progress. And I believe by people not progressing, that's what causes a lot of the misery. And understand, here's a little side note. The boiling point is at 213, I believe. At 212, water don't boil. What does that mean? Well, I think it's a whole thing that Matt Parks calls 859ers and 459ers. Last minute in to work. Last one there, first one to leave. If that's the mindset, you're not going to achieve greatness. It's the extra mile where greatness is at, and guess how long you got to be on the extra mile? Consistently. Not, I did it for a week, nothing happened. I did it for a month, nothing happened. Just consistent. Well, how can I do that consistently? Well, it's about what are my intentions? Are my intentions being the best that God created me to be? Am I reaching my full potential? And am I seeking to serve? Because I mentioned that also will help make people happy. How can I pour into somebody else for their benefit? How can I just look at this as, how can I help you? Good things are always going to come back. Successful and unsuccessful people, they don't really vary greatly all the time in their abilities. They vary in their desires to reach their potential. It's their desire to want to reach their potential. And I think their ability to understand that you got to pay the frickin' price and nobody wants to pay it. Nobody likes to pay it. It's not fun. It don't taste good. It don't feel good. It's not convenient. And both parties don't feel like doing it, the great and the average. But the successful people form the habit of doing the things that unsuccessful people are not willing to do consistently, because they think the unsuccessful people are average. They think that they don't like to do it, and that's why they're not doing it, and that the other people like to do it. They don't like to do it either. So what is your goal? You got to have goals so big that your problems pale in comparison, said Grant Cardone. You got to have dreams and goals so big that the problems are small compared to what the goal is going to bring you back. That's called having a vision. We got to earn the opportunity to do what we love. I think the reason why people don't reach their full potential is that they're just so focused on doing what they love, and people telling them, well, if you don't like it or you don't love it, then maybe you got to do something else. Or if you're not like this girl or like that guy, you should do something else. Or if you don't like playing, there's just parts of the process in everything that you're not gonna like. You have to do shit that you hate in order to do shit that you love. Anybody that tells you otherwise, I respectfully disagree with. I just disagree. Doesn't mean I'm wrong or right, or they're wrong or right. Just my opinion. I disagree from what I have witnessed. Is that if you're building something, you're going to have to do shit that you don't want to do in order to get to do all the things that you want to do. And so that's what separates the good from the great, is just doing the things that you don't feel like doing. Most people between good and great, they lose there. That's why they don't live where they want to live. That's why they can't do everything that they want to do. They have dreams that don't come to fruition because they haven't yet learned the habit of controlling their mind, going the extra mile, and that they're okay and comfortable being uncommon because other people are going to tell them that they're crazy. And you're going to have to win the mental battle to do a bunch of stuff that you don't feel like doing. Don't work. Just cut it out of your vocabulary. Get it hard. Just rewire your brain about this. Oh, I don't like to do that. I don't want to do that. Well, I didn't like to make those phone calls either. I didn't like to deal with those people either. I didn't like to miss that vacation either. I didn't like to miss that birthday party either. I didn't want to miss spaghetti dinner either. I didn't want to miss that wedding either. I didn't want to have my friends talking shit about me either. I didn't want all those things either. But I realized the formula is you got to do a bunch of stuff that you don't like, got to go through a bunch of stuff you don't feel like going through. And if you could stay there and do those things, all the things that you really want, you get from doing the things that you don't like. So then you get to go to a wedding in different countries and enjoy it and not penny pinch. Or you get to retire your loved ones. Or you get to, when you do take a vacation, you sail around on a private yacht and look at the whole city for 4 or 5 hours. Or you get to donate a little bit more to your church or to a place that's near and dear to your heart. You get to take care of people and do things. The things that you want to do will be created by how many things do you not want to do in the process that you got to get yourself to do that you don't like to do. And that's what's going to get you to win. And that's what we're on today on the GRINDcast. And so hopefully this helps some people. Do me a favor. If this helped anybody, share it for us. Let's impact more people. Let's send this out to people that we can impact, that we can touch, so we can make a difference in their life. Thank you for joining us on another episode of the GRINDcast. Get ready. It's a new day.